Hey guys, and welcome to another video from Oscar Cooper. I hope you're all well. We're going to be looking at Inquisitor Martyr. This is a new Warhammer 40k game, and it's in beta at the moment. It's in early access, and I've been looking at it on Steam. I'm really interested in this game. Really interested. Look at this stuff. So, what is this game all about? Well, it's builders, and it probably doesn't like this association, but it's builders like a Diablo-style top-down shooter RPG with sort of elements of range and close quarters combat. So I kind of think of the Diablo sort of setup, but it's got a slightly more detailed combat system than that, and it's sort of quite grounded in reality with cover and physics and stuff. It's pretty deep actually, this game. I'm really enjoying it.
Slay the treacherous Xenos. Banish the fork-tongued demon spawn.
I suppose there's quite a lot to talk about with this game, and I'm just gonna let the footage sort of roll as I rabbit on. We're craving a decent Warhammer 40k game. We all are. I mean, we had Deathwing and of course the Vermintide games. Vermintide 2 being a really good game. In all honesty, that's on the previous list I just put out. I'll put a link in the description. That's a very good game, does honour the franchise very well, along with the Total War series. But I've always craved something that revolves around sort of loot and upgrading the Space Marine, and the sort of lore and background into the little sort of intricacies and bolt-ons with all the weapons and the different stats that they could potentially produce, and of course Chaos and the cool universe that Chaos exists in, and Inquisitors sort of come along and kind of said, I can do all of that for you. But it's very important that the game has a good set of rules and some good mechanics, some good core combat mechanics. So I was really concerned about what I saw of this game, and thought, I wonder how that plays. Now, I'm going to try to pitch the combat here for you. It's a little bit like Diablo on the PC, not on the console. So I'm playing this on a PC, and what I'm doing is I'm using one clicker to move my character, and then the opposite clicker to fire the gun. But the gun also fires with the move button if you target the enemy. So you sort of jostle this move and shoot. Now you can see that there is cover, and there's a lot of destructible environments in this game, a really surprising amount actually, and the way that stuff dilapidates after being hit, and just the way things break and fall apart and bust up is really addictive. It's and this is only beta footage, so I think there's going to be a lot of improvement on the particle physics in that direction, and you'll probably see noticing some really low res on the character himself. I hope they sort the resolution out on that. I've got this stacked on like full settings, and it's probably just an early access thing, a beta build issue. But let's just look at how this works. So I sort of approach a group of enemies. I've got a shotgun on, and I have two loadouts. I have a shotgun, which is a two-handed weapon, and then I can press a button and have another loadout, which is a sword or a shield or a one-handed weapon, and this gives you loads of different sort of areas to go in regards to melee combat and using the shield. And this gun is very ranged. It has a toggle on sort of special fire mode, but it doesn't have ammo. It has a heat meter which is down near the bottom, but I've also switched back to my shotgun on the fly again, which is great because I've got to do some crowd control, and I'm trying to get a grenade out and obviously deal with this guy in front of me. But it's interesting, A, the amount of punishment I can take, and B, just how much you can get going on. I've got a special move. It's down on the bottom right. It's that big cylinder, and I let it off there, and it's kind of like a missile barrage. But all the different armor loadouts, and we're going to look at that in a second, have different moves in that slot, and also the grenades can be slotted in with I think Borderlands, with the different grenade type slots that you could put in there, and everything has got a rank and a pickup value in regards to legendary, rare, etc. We're going to look at that in loads more detail in a second, but just as a sort of comment on how I feel about this game in early access, it's totally awesome. It's really doing it for me, and I'm so interested in how they're going to port it onto the PlayStation 4 and console, because the release date for this is, well, it was June 5th, it says that on Wiki, but it's not that, it's August according to Steam. So it's got a long way to go. I don't think too far on a development stage. I hope they don't ruin this too much, because it's great to see these bullets fly at you. There's no dodge and roll, which changes things up a bit. It gives you that clunky feel, but at the same time, you know, you have to answer to your consequences. You just can't roll out of this situation. You've got to face up and deal with it. Now let's look at the loot. I just picked up something there. Let's go into that in a bit more detail. So the loot in this game is a regular affair of anyone who's played a lot of stuff like Borderlands or even Monster Hunter, or, again, I keep saying it, but Diablo. You've got your rare, common drops and sort of legendary stuff, but it's, I think where the detail lies is the stats that these things give you in turn, and how you can sort of stack up different perk points, or bolt on and bolt off different combinations of weapons, be it two-handed or one-handed, or be it melee, or even it be it your armor, giving you that special move. That's a slot in, slot out, and it's to do with the armor. Some of them have got that bullet barrage that you saw, some of them have got a turret, some of them have got like a huge jump and slam. So it's just really deep, meddling around with all this stuff, and there's also stats in the direction of perks. There's a big perk table. They get unlocked. You sort of open and feature some of those things. So and there's skill points to be spent. So it's really a fully fledged RPG. There's no mucking about with that. It's definitely something that's got an incredible amount of detail in that direction, and coupled with this is some, as you've seen, some really healthy range-based gunplay, which is exactly what a Warhammer 40k game should be. I was thinking it might swing towards, you know, chainswords and shields, and be a little bit like playing, you know, Diablo as the barbarian or something like that, but it's not. It's very much a game that revolves around guns, but there's also quite a big character class selection screen. I haven't shown you that, but there's an assassin. She's female. There's sniper rifles in this. I've got 2 builds going, but there's also psyches and psychers. So the telekinesis space marine equivalent, and I imagine that'll be full of range, magic, flashy stuff, and I'm just really looking forward to developing that. I'm playing as a tactical or a tactician at the moment, so I'm sort of all about the weapons, the shields. I think I get my own set of equipment as well in regards to what's dropped, etc. The game also features a central hub, and I think there'll be a lot more furniture in this when the full game comes out. But there's a trading post there, and she's always refreshing. You see that down in the corner there. I'm trying to think of other games that did that. Borderlands did that in the machines. There's probably loads of games that do it, but that's a cool idea. If you're doing lengthy playthroughs, then there's new infantry available. But there's a really sturdy trading system in the game, and different coins and money, and you can see that the stuff that she has is perfectly pitched at not a massively overpowered material. They're doing quite good on that, but you can also sell, and it's great to just come in and get rid of stuff, and also rank stuff. You can sort everything by what you prefer, be it rarity or power or quantity, that sort of stuff. So let's get back to the lore and the Inquisitor stuff and the Chaos stuff. If you don't know, Inquisitors are sort of they've been there since the Horus Heresy, and they're kind of like the galactic space marine police when it comes to chaos and chaos invasions, or the warp, just basically policing and finding various outbreaks of the chaos virus. I think this is very Nurgle based. That you'll see that there's a lot of pestilence, disease, green smoke. The chaos seem to be quite disease, pustulous ridden. So I'm assuming it's his world, but there may be some changes in that in later game. I hope so. But just back to the Marines themselves, they're they're really badass. They're not Terminators, but they're certainly equipped for a lot of situations, and the first sent in to a situation like this. So it's really cool to have that as a backdrop. You know, it's great to get the Inquisitors going. And there was this really amazing fan film out on YouTube made a while ago, not tied in with this game at all, which looked like a brilliant CGI film. I don't think it's tied in with this game. I'm going to hunt that down and put that in the description, because that's an amazing video. And here's the bit from the start of the video, and it's the Dreadnought. So we've got a Chaos Dreadnought to fight, which is fucking brilliant. I was just like, oh my god, I'm getting sick of these guys. But there's big Chaos Marines and there's big old Dreadnoughts, and look at the coolness with this guy. I mean, he's massive, and everyone's supporting him. The idea with fighting these Dreadnoughts is to try and get rid of everything else in and around them, so that you can concentrate on them. And as you can see, it's a bit of a toe-to-toe battle here. My health is up in the top left, alright, and I've scarpered because it does regenerate, but I'm doing it manually, so I've pushed 0, or you could go and click in the far bottom left of the screen and you can give yourself like a syringe, like a stim pack, which puts it up gradually. You can't do these constantly, they have a cooldown on them, so that's an interesting mechanic, and the game is actually perfectly pitched on a difficult level for me. It's really convenient. Here's one of those Chaos Marines. You can see him on the bridge there, and he's a tough cookie. He's firing away at me. I'm trying to deal with this melee guy who will not get out of your face unless you kill him. So shotgun's gone on, and I'm going to think of a tactic to try and get this Marine, and I'm probably just going to go and shotgun him in the face. But you can see their shield coming down. The Dreadnought's got wind of this. I'm now getting seriously pummeled. He's down. I'm going to go in. He's not down. He's back. I'm going to go and finish off the Dreadnought, which is not a quick process, and I of course avoiding his fire and trying to deal with things. So this is another level with a different Marine loadout. So I'm going to talk about that for a bit. That felt as awesome as it looked, and this level was very different. I wanted to show it because it's very linear. It's not sort of large rooms, and there's not too much cover. It shows how when there's one piece of cover, you really need to utilize it if there's corridors, etc. But a few things happened in that previous clip, and it was me using my different special, which is kind of like a jetpack stomp. You saw it go up in the air and then slam back down again. And of course, I wanted to discuss the special firing techniques of each weapon. So numbers 1 and 2 on the keyboard give you some alternate fire options, and the shotgun's got one that's a knockdown, a special knockdown, and it's also got one that's like a fan shot that's 3 shots in succession, I think, don't quote me on that. It works really well against larger enemies. It's integral now to my gameplay style, is having the shotgun with me. It can just take down large groups, and it can just force guys to the ground where you can follow up with a big hit. Now I'm on the ranged weapon with the shield, and this is really giving me the freedom of movement, and I can sort of aim right down that corridor and pick these guys off. I'm not taking any risks here, because this is a mission that I have only 3 lives for as well. They're over on the right and above the map, and they're those 3 skulls. I haven't used any of them up yet, but you just need to be really careful. Those health packs start to get a little less frequent, and so using one of those stim packs is a biggie. You don't want to be doing it, but at the same time you want to be cracking on. So yeah, it's sort of horses for courses. The ranged weapon doesn't have a special, but the shield has a special, and it's kind of like a shield slam. You may have seen it at the start of the video. So I've also got the number 4 special, which is the big stomp. I've got 2 specials on my shotgun, and I've got my switched out loadout with 2 specials on the shield. One of a slam and one's a mini sort of like Diva's small shield that's up for like a split second. If something big's coming in, you can put it on. So when you go into a situation, you've got all this, and grenades, you've got all this ideas, you know, and all these ways to attack things. And just like a lot of the other games with hotkeys and cooldowns and specials, you're looking down at this bottom bar, you're queuing things up, you're knowing what's going to be ready and when it's going to be ready, you know, and you're just using those in the situations required. Also, you've got a lot of explodable and flammable cover. So these red barrels only takes them a few hits before they explode. So it's a bad idea to take cover behind them, but it's great if the enemy are near them, because you can pop them off and they'll actually chain react and explode as well. I didn't get to set those 2 off actually, funnily enough. I'm probably going to have a go at it now. But what I love about this clip is that I'm taking this whole sort of camp down. There's loads of them, and if I was to run straight in and just try it on with all of them, then I die, and I have to do it like chunk by chunk. So I'm working my way down the far left hand side here. And another thing I forgot to mention, and I probably haven't shown it in the video, that if you hit the mouse roller, you can just do a 360-degree turnaround with a camera angle. There's no restriction for camera angle. That brings up some questions for me, because I am thinking, well, I'm hoping this is going to be a couch co-op game. Now, when you go on to the PlayStation Network store and look at this game on pre-order, it says that it's got local 2-player co-op. So they may disable that when it comes in. I don't know, actually. That's only just come about. But in the 1-player, I can swing that camera around. I'm not too sure how that would work if there's 2 of you on screen. If this was couch co-op, this would be freaking amazing. Even if this is an online only co-op game, it's going to be amazing. I did actually try out some of the lobbies. Obviously it's beta build, so there's not people everywhere. You can see from the notes going up and down that it's busy, it's popular. A lot of people have paid up front for this, because like me, they heard really good things about it, and we got really good things. It's really impressive. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's very addictive, wanting to do these runs, get rare drops, bolt them onto your marine, and then take him to a high rank mission and see if you can do it. You know, that's a really clever gameplay loop. It reminds me of a lot of other games in that vein, the action RPGs that are really good and that exist on that premise. So I think this is going to work. Let's see what the port looks like. I'm certainly gonna, well, I own it already on the PC, because I've paid up front for the beta access, for early access, but I have no regrets in that whatsoever. If this game changed not at all, i.e. they did nothing to it between now and launch day, I'd be happy with it. So, you know, awesome. I'm going to leave this with you. I will see you all down there. I'm taking a break this weekend. I'm off to the UK. I will be back early next week. I have some footage to get past you guys, so I'll be seeing you then. As always, take care. See you down there, guys.